Hello and welcome to Off the Bar, brought to you by Greene King Sport. Today we have got a big debate. We are talking Old Trafford. We're talking new ground. We're talking redevelopment. We're talking debt. Good debt, bad debt, all sorts.
It was an obvious joke, wasn't it?
What was the obvious joke?
Old Trafford, New Trafford.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant masturbate.
All right.
Sorry.
We are masturbating New Trafford. And it really is that simple. Jay Motty's here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're doing
I'm excited.
Very well? Yeah?
There's, lots of exciting things potentially on the horizon.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Stephen Howson as well. How are you?
Yeah, cool.
You feeling very excited for this?
Yeah.
Good. Let's start out.
Just calm it down a little bit, though, kid. Come on.
So Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, etc.
I know.
Weirdly, despite only owning about a quarter of Man United, seems to be leading the way on everything we are doing on and off the pitch, whether it's football, finances, redevelopment, everything.
This New Trafford thing as well smelt a little bit like I saw fan ownership getting sort of mooted.
Well, I think
it was, wasn't it?
So Must mentioned that. They mentioned the idea of the United Supporters Trust, mentioned the idea of a fund or some way of fans being able to put towards how much it would cost to build a new stadium. So before we get into
I'm
that...
going to do that by buying a season ticket, and that's all.
Yeah, well, that should be...
I think I might join you on that one.
Before we get into that, just so I know your positions, would you be up for, A, Manchester United redeveloping Old Trafford, spending whatever amount, we'll get into all the details.
The Real Madrid model.
The Real Madrid model. Or B, the Tottenham Hotspur model, where we get a brand new stadium, state of the art, let's assume it's near the other Old Trafford, it's on that same land that United own.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer?
I know I'm in the minority in general amongst United fans, but I prefer a new stadium. I want it to be at the site of Old Trafford, and I get all the history and people have got an emotional attachment to that particular building.
If you choose that, we are forcing you to choose it 200 metres to the southwest.
Why?
Because that's what the plan showed.
Was it 200 metres? I didn't realise it was that far. Okay, well, it's got to be quite far.
It's got to be on it.
Yeah, actually, 200 metres isn't that as far as I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, 200 metres, it's in the vicinity.
It's the same plot.
200 metres from Old Trafford isn't that far. What's that like? One of the car parks?
Yeah, basically.
That's like Scania. By the looks of it,
it looks like where the ticket office is.
Right, okay, yeah, that's fine.
So it's basically from one corner of
walking
the
down the ticket office road.
Yeah.
You want a new stadium?
I want a new stadium.
And where are you at, Steve?
I'm option C.
Which is?
I don't know.
Right.
It's not often he says that, is it? On any
No, it's
any
not.
topic
It's very
ever.
Stephen Howson, actually.
I think
I
there's
don't know.
good points for both.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm on the fence.
And I think I do sort of understand your point, and I'm not sort of blind to the idea that there may be certain limitations to the current Old Trafford. But personally, I am more in favour of keeping it.
Yeah.
I think that the idea that you're knocking down so much of what is the biggest and best stadium, maybe not the best anymore, but certainly the greatest stadium in English football history, the idea of getting rid of that seems like a massive shame to me. So just...
can I start?
Yeah,
Seeing as though I've got points for both.
Yeah.
Go on, then.
And then you two can argue on top of the points that I'm going to make.
Why not?
In terms of the keeping it,
Yeah.
the things I like about Old Trafford, this is the stadium that we've been in since 1908.
Something like that.
Over 100 years.
1910.
Yeah.
So this is the stadium that we've been in since then. Someone was like, oh, what about the history of Newton Heath? We weren't in there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before we moved to like North Road or whatever.
Right, come on.
So anyway, this is the place, yeah?
Yeah.
I get that the walk will be the same. I get I'm parking in the same place. I don't use an official club car park. Fuck that noise. Right?
Mate, you still be there now.
I get that it's still on the land that the club own. Those are all positives as far as I'm aware. And I get that building a new stadium, you get to put a new design in. There's the infrastructure, like people have said, there's difficulties with putting significant sort of building on what's 100-year-old plus footings. Yeah. And some of that stuff post-war might not have been repaired to the greatest levels and standards and stuff like that. I mean, we've still got the original tunnel from 1900 because it survived the bombing. And it's like they've just left it like the original tunnel. Otherwise, the tunnel's in the corner now, but the original tunnel is still in there because it's made of like reinforced concrete.
It's down the centre of the centre line, isn't it?
So that's never going.
No.
So I understand all of those little things. There's something that I think has to be paid attention to because by the sounds of things, they want to redevelop the campus, if you like, into other shit, put more shops, more get things that people are going to spend on.
Yeah,
the
get a
match day.
CEX in there.
Yeah.
A Nando's.
Yeah.
A little cinema complex. All that sort of stuff you mentioned.
People have buried their family members or put their ashes of family members in the corner of Old Trafford. I don't know if you're aware of how frequently that, I think, used to happen.
It doesn't happen anymore, yeah.
What happens when that's fucking Nando's toilets?
Yeah. There's going to be logistical sort of almost...
That is a valid point. Obviously, if anyone's watching who's got the relatives, ashes there, they're going to be like, well, you can't move them. But I think there are plans for there to be some sort of remembrance sort of place where you can do that. You can't do it anymore anyway. Right. You can't just ring up United and go, my grandma's died or whatever.
So just for a bit more detail, what happened? What used to happen? Where is that? What's going on there? Because that's news to me.
Basically in front of the away fans, right in the corner of the disabled section, you'll notice that around Old Trafford it's all artificial grass at the very edge.
Around the edge?
Yeah, obviously the main pitch is grass, but the slopes, the grass. Now, in that sort of southeast corner, there was a grass section at the edge of the pitch, and that was where people used to spread their ashes. When people say, I want my ashes spread at Old Trafford, you ain't getting a centre spot.
Yeah.
You get that bit. So I don't know the numbers. I'm sure someone at Old Trafford probably does, and I bet it's in the fucking thousands. How many people have spread their ashes at Old Trafford must be insane. So you knock it down, what happens now? And I know that's not, and I'm sure that happened at Tottenham, and I'm sure it happened at the Highbury prior to them moving, maybe not Main Road, but I'm sure that's happened at stadiums where people have had to move in the past. And I guess, I don't know, it's not something I've ever come across, but it's a consideration.
Yeah.
I like certain things that some people will consider shit about Old Trafford. I like the fact that it's fucking crammed. I bet you can't sit down.
No, well, my knees are constantly, if I'm sitting down, my knees are constantly smashed into the seat in front of me, to the point where my toes are going numb by half time.
It's built for children.
Yeah.
It's literally built for children. But I think that when the atmosphere gets going and gets good, I think you can be a bit on top because it's so crammed in. Wembley, I could put it this way: you can have people walk down your aisle at Wembley, and you not need to get up.
Yeah,
which is insane to me.
Does that sort of thing come into your thinking then? Because obviously I know you can say, well, we could make it a bit tighter and a bit this and that, but typically with new stadiums,
I think it's probably fire regulations.
Yeah, well, that's another point. But all the new stadiums I've been in over the last sort of 10, 15 years, Emirates and Wembley in particular, you go there and it is a different scale because of the seats are bigger, the gaps are bigger, the atmosphere has more room to sort of dissipate in. Is that a concern for you when you think about a new stadium? Are you bothered?
I don't think it's a new concern. I've been to new stadiums, and there's still a good atmosphere there. I don't think I get the point of that old school. I love old school grounds, by the way, for an atmosphere. I used to love Loftus Road and Upton Park and Goodison. And I know the view at Goodison weren't the greatest, isn't the greatest, but I like that. I get your point, Steve, I do. But I think also you've got to move with the times. The fact that if you want to sit down, you can't because you crammed it isn't really great, especially when you've got, say you're just there, you're taking your kids or whatever, and it's all bit squash. You've got people trying to get past you every 5 minutes. It's just a noise. It's not enjoyable like it should be. And also, I think you can still have a good atmosphere. When I went to Atletico, they've got a new stadium. The atmosphere was mint. Same with the Allianz Arena. I've been to other stadiums where they're new. You've been to new stadiums where you can have an atmosphere. And I think the club have been trying to sort the atmosphere out with the TRA and some of the moves they've been making in Stretford end. So they need to continue that and maybe sort of amplify a little bit in ways of keeping the atmosphere going or moving in the right direction. So I understand the grittiness almost of it. I like a bit of that myself, but I think if you want to move forward in the modern era, you need something that's a bit more fit for purpose. And I think this whole bits of concrete falling on your head, the leaks in the roof, I know you can fix
just
that.
Fucking suck it up.
I know, just fair enough.
It's only concrete.
Wear a fucking hat, Jay.
Yeah, sorry.
Wear a steel reinforced
You know what? It's fine.
I wonder if they can't come out and say, "Hey, it's fucked."
Yeah.
And they're just going, listen, we just think it'd be a real good idea to get a new stadium built. But actually they're going, we've got 5 more matches in this.
This actually is not, you shouldn't even be going in it.
In fairness, that is one thing that we've seen, and the Telegraph did 2 or 3 articles on it that were really good with some good info and good details. They sort of mentioned that point you said there about some of the stuff that this stadium is built on, even just the way the electricals come into the stadium and stuff, is 100 years old. Or,
it probably predates electricity being fucking in stadiums.
Well, gas lights in there, all that.
The foundations,
powered by Bunsen burner.
The extra weight, the fact that you look at like I said, the seating and stuff, that can't be fundamentally changed without knocking ends down and rebuilding them anyway. So I do get that there's something, but there's part of me that, are we building it? I think one question that they have to consider is, are we building this so that we've got a stadium to show off to, look at our new stadium, world of football? Is that what it's for? Or is it for an experience of being at the match that is gritty and that is a bit harsh and a bit hard and a bit difficult for the opposition and that's a bit nasty? And what do we want from this?
Both.
You want both?
Ultimately, yeah.
So,
but I straddle the line. I did this with Paddock FC, where on one hand you got to be ultra professional, on the other hand I'm fucking banging Scousers. So like, I straddle the fucking line, I would like the end to be. I mean, I said this upstairs. If we're going to rebuild, I want to go right. I want a wall like Dortmund that goes right to the top of the stand, and I want it to be exclusively like under 21s, under 23s.
Yeah.
Gives you an excuse to make cheaper tickets. Yeah. It gives you an excuse to have young lads and lasses in there off their fucking melon. Because honestly, that's where atmosphere comes from. The crowd at Old Trafford's too old. And I'm not talking about people like pensioners. I'm talking like, I'm probably under the average age at Old Trafford. Yeah. Like, it's probably in the mid-40s. When the Premier League started, the average age of season ticket holders was 23. 25 years later, it was 45. Yeah. It's the same fucking people. Yeah. Like, so young people are not, like, I've got a 17-year-old son. He only goes to the match with his mate, not mates, if I don't go. And he takes mine and my dad's ticket for whatever reason, right? Yeah. He can't go 10 of his mates. No. He can't do it. It's just not a thing that's open to him. Why not have some sort of like unallocated seating, 25-man deep or 25,000 deep behind each goal and just watch the atmosphere?
When you say they can't do it because of the money, because of the cost of it.
Also, okay, even there's £1 million, go and get 8 tickets together at Old Trafford.
You can. Yeah, well, I hear that. Like, if you could have, say, the rail seating where it's pay on the door or something like that.
Unallocated.
Like, we used to do, when I used to go to I went to the, forgive me, it wasn't the Stretford Paddock, it was the scoreboard Paddock, me and mates used to go. It was full, I know.
We'll start a fucking channel called Scoreboard Paddock, you absolute fraud.
And it was £4.
Oh, by the way, if people don't know, that's literally what the channel's named after.
I know.
Is the Stretford and Paddock.
I don't know why that's become confusing. Seems like all sorts of debates going on what it's named after. Yeah. So it used to be £4. You could all get in together. Like, you get a ticket, you get a ticket. We'd all go in together.
Oh, just pay the door. You won't even be a ticket.
Yeah. Sometimes pay the door.
Here's your £2.50. Bosh,
happy days. So I get that. I like that idea, but I think you can do all that in a new stadium.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of my arguments for the new stadium.
The other thing with new stadiums, and obviously I understand the draw of this, is I saw a thing talking about Tottenham Stadium and the amount of the average person spends in their stadium experience on a match day. So what the average person spends per time they visit Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And I think at White Hart Lane it was something like £12, and at the new stadium it was something like £26. Yeah. Like, it's gone up massively, and that leads to more match day revenue, that leads to more transfers, more players, better infrastructure, Obviously, that is a good thing for Manchester United, making more money and we get more players and stuff. But how much of it do you want the stadium to be an event, and how much of it do you want it to to be, this is where United play football and that's all it is? Do you like the idea? Do you like the idea of it being somewhere you go? Because now no one's, some people do, but no one's going in 2 hours before the game because they'll have dinner there.
I don't mind that.
Be that?
I don't mind that because I like, say, I'm going there. Say I'm taking my lad or one of my daughters. I'll go to hotel football for a bit. Yeah. Why couldn't I do that at the ground if the ground was better? Yeah. Like, I'm not against going to Old Trafford.
If there was a supporters club under the North Stand or something.
Yeah, like a few hours early.
Yeah, imagine the money that'd make.
Well, even just like a few, but and this is obviously me talking about the ideas of redeveloping, and I think if Old Trafford is redeveloped, I don't want it to just be, we stuck a corner on, or we stuck a bit. I think it needs sort of almost gutting and reworking all of it. Madrid. But like when we went to Texas was a great example of it. We went to the stadium there in Houston. But some of the rooms and the spaces in and around it, and even San Diego, which was a smaller stadium, but there's street food vendors, there's pubs almost built into the stadium, where now it's you're queuing up for ages for shit beer, a pie that's too hot, and some overpriced minstrels, or there it's like you're going out for dinner. You would arrive 2 hours early because we'll go there for a bit. There's a pub basically in the stadium. We can go and sit there. There's seating. There's this sort of like. I can see the draw in that, but do you think we would get that if we stayed at Old Trafford? Can you see that? Because that's my worry. If it was at Old Trafford, they'd just go, we've stuck some more seats in, and it's still you're queuing up for 20 minutes to get a pint at half time. I think it'd miss the kickoff.
Incredibly hard to do that at Old Trafford. Maybe there is a way of doing it, but it seems a bit far-fetched to be able to make it a full match day experience. Because you remember we got them emails a few years ago, and it was like, come to the ground early to watch Liverpool versus City on the telly. What the I feel like cancelling my season ticket for. What are you emailing me? This shite for?
But also...
And then go and stand there where you can't drink... Oh, not I'd want to go and watch Liverpool City on the telly at Old Trafford anyway. But I thought, is that what your match day experience now is? Just come and watch something on the telly where you've got to queue up for ages and you can barely get served, and if you do buy anything, it's overpriced anyway. And there's not many options, especially for someone like me who don't drink. So yeah,
even if you do, there was a time when it was Carling at United, and it's dog piss. Yeah. Like, and there's no. You know, I said we seem to get a deal with a supplier, and then it's Singer, it's Budweiser, that's it. Do you want a beer? There's your beer. Yeah. There isn't a load of options. But also, like they're saying, come and watch City versus Liverpool. For starters, not really want to watch that, but I'll watch it because of the rivalry. If you're watching it inside Old Trafford, you're stood up.
You're stood up watching it in a telly that's breaking.
That's what I mean. It was just
it's not a great atmosphere to do it, but there's an element where you don't want to make it too bougie. You still want to have that hard edge, because ultimately, if it's too fluffy and nice, you're not going to go out there and sing your head off as much if it's too relaxed. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be areas. Like, because there is a broad range of ages, of physical abilities as well. Yeah. Like, my granddad might go more often if he could actually sit down.
Yeah.
He's got one leg, he's got a false leg, and it hurts. Right. So like he doesn't go unless he gets like an exec where he can sit down. Yeah. But if there was, but the execs is the only place that you get to sit down outside of watching the match. But where I sit, we don't sit. No, like I haven't sat there ever. I sit down at half time or before the match starts. We don't sit. Yeah. But if there was more, like you couldn't do it at Old Trafford, you would have to rip it up. And I've been to a few different American sports, and the experience of American sports, I actually get American sports now because it's about eating and drinking. Yeah. And football isn't. The action's weirdly too gripping. Even though they think nothing happens because it's not 95, 94 or whatever it is. So
that's quite low for a basketball game.
If you see what their sports are like, I mean, basketball may be a bit different to like football and baseball for sure. We went to the Yankees, me and Ronaldo, when we was on the tour. We went to the Yankee game. It's a hangout, and it's almost like an excuse to hang out. It's like where we might go to the pub, and it might be something on there. That's how they treat the baseball. Yeah. We're hanging out, and the baseball's on there. Yeah. And then someone will go, and then everyone will go, and then you look over. You know what you're saying? Yeah. Like, that's the experience of going to the match there. So that's why their amenities inside the stadium. The queues are 2 people deep. It takes you 4 minutes to get served anything you want. Yeah. You've got shops, like actual fucking stores inside there. Like you don't have that at United. No. You don't have that in England as far as I'm aware. But like you could, but you're going to have to rip the rule book up to do that. Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily be against, I wouldn't want that as the only option. I'd still want it to be a bit gritty and a bit what's it in places. But I think that you should have the range. No, there should be some little booths where you can maybe get, your United pie brought to your table. Yeah. Even if it's only on like plastic knives and forks and stuff rather than cutlery. Yeah. But like maybe we can sit down and watch the match. And maybe I will come in an hour and a half before and have a couple of pints in here beforehand. But you're going to have to change the whole way that shit works. Like, why isn't there a bar that all United fans can go to that holds 1,000? That's
what I mean. The
underneath
pub,
the
pub that's in Old Trafford that everyone goes to. Yeah, it's a massive pub.
Doesn't matter if you're on the East Stand, West Stand. Doesn't matter where you are.
They could do that though.
How'd you get in? I've got a ticket, and they just look at your ticket and you're in. You go. You don't scan it or anything.
They've done it, and it pays me to say, because I don't want to compare myself to them cheating bastards, but they've done it at the Etihad, where they've got a pub inside, haven't they? Where like they can go, both City fans can go in there and experience it.
It needs about 6 people though.
I know, that's what I mean. But you could do that. You could do all that, and I agree with everything you've said. And we were talking about the Snapdragon where we watched United Wrexham, the food there. I came out about 2 stone heavier. I just couldn't stop eating. It was
all different
even
stuff.
halfway through the second half, I went and got a scran because someone was coming around with what they called them things.
Churros.
Yeah.
And there's like
I was like, what's that?
Here,
I'm getting one of them.
There's like
it was mint.
roast stuff here. There's wraps here. There's like you go around and it's and this is a relatively small stadium. I don't know the exact numbers, but I would guess somewhere in the region of 20,000. It's a new stadium, but not the grandest thing you've ever seen. But the experience of being at the game was fantastic. Like without feeling like you're sacrificing
can't take
football.
it too much away from the football.
No,
but everything you've said, you know, a section that's a bit more hardcore, a section that accommodates, you know, the older fans or whatever. You can do all of that, but in a new stadium, I think you struggle to do that in Old Trafford.
Look at like the Trafford now. The Trafford holds what? A couple of hundred. Bishops holds 150, 200 maybe. And that's crammed in. If you had a bar under like Red Square used to be great for this, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like Red Square can hold literally thousands.
Yes,
and
ridiculous.
when they used to open before the game, they had a shit selection of beer as well, to be fair, which might have been why they didn't carry on as much as they did. But like Red Square was great for it because you'd get a couple of thousand in there and the atmosphere does start to build and then you carry it on. Imagine how much it carries on if you're just underneath.
Yeah.
And then it's like, 5-2.
Do you know why that works well as well? You make a point because sometimes we've all done it and I've seen it done. Lads will go down, like start off in town, getting on it. Levered, and you'll see videos of them dancing and singing and throwing beer at each other. By the time they've got to the stadium, they're knackered. And like they are. They're like out in the seat and just too levered and give up.
Sandplatz?
Yeah.
In the tents in Sandplatz used to be some epic limbs and you know Barney's going on in there.
Yeah.
Like, why can't that be underneath the stadium? Like, and you do get the atmosphere really kicking off in there. But, and again, that might have to be something that you build with a new gaff, and you don't have to make it tables and watch the telly. You can just have one that's just a real industrial, does 1,000 pints a minute and
like,
just
a bit like Red
dish
Square
them out.
inside the stadium. Again, I agree with that, and I think you can do that.
Because the lads who want to go there will go there. The old fella who wants to go and sit down and eat his United pie with a fork, he can sit down and watch the match on there. Everyone can watch the earlier kickoff.
But wouldn't there be obviously there'd be an incredible sort of feeling of a new stadium, and I know that Tottenham fans were absolutely buzzing when they got there. But wouldn't it feel equally as amazing, if not slightly more amazing, if we've managed to turn the stadium that we already had that we love, or that had all of this history, we've managed to turn this into that. It's still the same stadium, the seats feel the same, the view's the same, the light hits the same, all that sort of stuff, and we didn't have to sacrifice the old place. Wouldn't there be something amazing about that?
I think it would be amazing. I think it's almost
where you're going to play
undoable. I think it's too to do all the things that we've mentioned in the actual building that is Old Trafford now. Would be like you would have to just rebuild it completely anyway.
But look at what they did at the Bernabeu. Is that not comparable? I know what the
we could play at our training ground stadium, couldn't we?
We could, Lee Sports Village, isn't it? It's good. It would have to be. We look at me and Joe McGraw were talking about this last week. Like the options are.
You're not having to butcher's arms. I've already bagged it.
The options literally are.
Paddock will be got to play at Paddock FC's ground one day. He'll be like, did you get a ticket or got chubbed like the other 70,000 people?
Yeah, text Steve.
Steve, can you get me in? You know how to play Wolves.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll sort it. AJ Bell. Which is what, 12,000?
12,000, yeah.
Lee Sports Village.
You can't get to right.
AJ Bell cannot handle the rugby. It can.
No.
It is an absolute transport nightmare to live near it.
It's in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? It's
in Eccles. It's near Eccles.
Yeah.
It's between Eccles and Barton. If you want to be technical, it's Barton upon Irwell.
Yeah.
But the transport links are terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just rammed. And if that was United, I know it can only hold so many thousand, whatever, but it'd be full. It'd be a disaster.
Okay.
I've watched Salford there, and it's a ball league, and it was about 2,500.
That's what I mean.
So what would it? Lee Sports Village then? Is that?
No,
it's
in fucking Lee, and it holds about 7,000.
12,000.
No way does it.
That's what Google says.
Mate, have you ever been? You've been to Lee Sports Village, haven't you? Watching the under-23s was a headache. And that again was like 3,000 or 4,000.
What is the option? There isn't any.
But there must be.
If you want to rebuild Old Trafford,
or if you close an end off at a time, go round.
Maybe do close an end off at a time. Back in the day, like we used to. I know, but
Liverpool did that.
What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to?
But it's doable.
That's my point, though. You're struggling. What are you going to do? Ground share with Bolton?
Well, that's the other option, yeah. A Bolton or a Blackburn or a fucking Oldham or something.
What's that? 24,000 or something.
Yeah, but we're not going to get a 75,000.
That's smart in the comments. You're going to be like, play at Wembley. All your fans are there anyway. Ha 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 ha.
We're pleased to announce that this episode of Off the Bar is sponsored by Greene King Sport, where football is more than a game.
And Greene King Sport venues are showing every single televised Manchester United match this season, which means with over 900 venues, wherever you are, there is somewhere nearby showing all the action.
If you download the Greene King Sport app, you won't just get 10% off all the drinks anytime that there's a match on TV. But this month, there's also thousands of pints of free Guinness to be won and the chance to win one of 6 holidays.
So make sure you download the Greene King Sport app. The link to that is in the description for all of that good stuff. Thank you once again to Greene King Sport for sponsoring the show. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Could we ask City to use their ground? Is that possible?
It's possible. All things are possible.
Because also, on one hand, it's a bit half and half scarf, and people are like, what the fuck? But on the other hand, the San Siro is fantastic, and no one thinks it isn't. And they share a ground with their biggest rivals.
That's the way it's always been done, though.
They're not going to do it, right, for starters.
Would you want it?
They're horrible. No, I wouldn't.
Can you imagine the graffiti that would be in the place?
Do you know, imagine
waiting for us.
And you'd just be sat in a cell every week, wouldn't you, for wrecking it?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Scratching
what
it.
have you been doing this week? Oh, just fucking.
How many seats you get? 50.
Yeah.
High five.
What are you in for? Arson again. Like, it's just they won't want it.
It's
we
concrete.
Won't
It won't fucking burn, Jay.
Holding a light to a bit of concrete.
Like, it's just. I understand you, but we did it in the 40s, didn't we?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got bombed and all that, but that was a different era. That's when people used to go.
And also that was
United.
out of
By the way, can I just
Wartime.
address the City fans? We've got the biggest attendance. Was it an FA Cup semi-final?
I think it was, wasn't it?
Right. And I think United had like 1,000 less than that the week before. Is it, and City's attendance has never been half of that, right? Is it not possible that everyone in Manchester just decided to go and watch a game that
That's
weekend?
what used to go down, didn't it? Like, a lot of people used to go to Main Road on the one week and Old Trafford on the other week. Like, they'd go to just the home
Yeah, my
games.
granddad spoke about it, and I can't wrap my nap around it. It was like, yeah, we had a spot, like, just me and my group of lads that I work with.
My dad, it was like I think late 60s, early 70s. They came to watch United at Old Trafford, and when they arrived, there was the boards up that just said game off due to the weather. So they're like, fucking City playing, let's go and watch City.
Yeah.
Or, like, just because people did that a bit more.
It was a common thing, yeah.
Cancelled.
A ground sharing. Look, City fans wouldn't want it. We wouldn't want it. The club wouldn't do it. I don't think United would even ask them. Yeah. And also, the dawn of a new era begins with us playing at the Etihad. No thanks.
Okay.
Do you know what's... Could we use Goodison?
It's not the most ridiculous.
Have they moved into the new gaff?
Are you
Goodison?
risking sending 40,000 Manx deep into Merseyside every other
Every
week?
week.
With
You know what I
every
mean?
Liverpool fan in the country just waiting for you.
Like,
We always play well at Villa Park.
we are getting towards Wembley, aren't we? We end up at Wembley.
Stoke, Sheffield, Birmingham, Liverpool. Thinking nearby.
I'm trying to think of it. The thing that's put me off a lot of them is
not a lot.
just
There's not
transport
enough.
and things like
Stoke wouldn't be
there's
the
not
worst
enough
idea.
Really? Have you been to Stoke?
Stoke's
no,
a bit of
but
a
it's-
mooch getting back. Not a mooch, but I've
Listen,
had dramas
it's
getting back.
it's what, 80 mile and 40 years away?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Like,
Also, as well, automatically, if you do say you did Stoke, just for example, what is it, 40 seats, 40,000?
Yeah.
How many
Not
season
even
ticket-
all these seasons ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to. That's gonna have to be a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Real Madrid didn't play in a 80,000 by the way for the Bernabeu.
I don't know how many seasons old as they have though. It's not as many as you think.
Yeah.
They have a lot more like on the match sort of thing.
I just feel that listen, I understand, and I'll keep saying this, but I love Old Trafford and the history, and I've had some of the best moments of my life there. But I think every way you're trying to do, some of the things that Steve suggested, which I think are good ideas, increasing the capacity, making it a stadium that's fit for purpose, to do that and not shut the stadium down is almost impossible. And then it's like, okay, then where are we going to play? And all the options are deeply flawed. It's logistically, it's a nightmare, because you go in, I mean, in another world, these suggestions would be absolutely ridiculous, but they're the best of a bad bunch. Goodison, Etihad, Stoke,
Aviva.
It's like,
Dublin.
that's not,
Why not? The Manchester United Wanderers for a year.
What, like the Harlem Globetrotters? We just go
Did
around.
you do Old Trafford Cricket Ground?
What?
Well, it's a stadium that's 500 metres away.
I don't think you could put
Is that
a football
possible?
pitch on there.
Do you not think?
Can you imagine the cricket?
I know we went to the cricket grounds when we was in Australia, didn't we? Because they played football there.
They do.
I know they
gigs
do
there.
that,
They
but,
do like.
but I don't think.
Perth played on
concerts
a
and that.
cricket ground. Literally.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I don't think
Do you
that's
know
an
what?
option.
I'm with you. That's the only one I can think of that's not mental.
A cricket ground.
Well, it's right next door.
Yeah.
But done it hold about 12K?
No, but they put
Was it
They put the
Well,
world's
can we find out what
largest freestanding.
Old Trafford?
Oh yeah, because that's not going to result in a
cricket
lot
ground.
of deaths, is it?
Well, they didn't
cricket
during the
ground
World
holds.
Cup.
We'll find out the capacity.
I think it can go up to about 20,000.
How much does it hold? Emirates Old Trafford.
Yeah.
It's
While they find that out, just looking forward then. Let's say, right, we're going to... That's behind. So let's say...
Not from you, then.
Oh, that's true. Let's say...
22,000.
22,000, yeah.
Sound only need to quadruple that.
That's for the temporary... That's for the... with the temporary stand there. But the location's exactly the same in real terms. 22,000, you know. Anyway.
We'll have to build a big hill.
Yeah. So moving forward,
Just sit on the pitch around the ground, it'd be all right.
That'd be good actually. They get loads of like camping chairs out around the actual square, but you could probably get another 5,000.
These are genuinely really good ideas.
Yeah. Let's say right, we're getting a new stadium, state of the art. A couple of things I want to ask you. One, how big should it be? Because there's all this talk of 90,000 seems to be the Wembley. How big should it be? And also, what do you want to take either sort of literally from the current Old Trafford, or in terms of like nods to the current Old Trafford? What needs to come with it?
There's two questions there. The first one, I think 90,000 is pretty good because I think you can more or less sell that out every week.
Yeah,
I think that's not too, because if you get like a 130,000 seat stadium, it's going to be half empty. You're going to like, let's say you get 80,000 fans in there for each United versus, I don't know,
Midtjylland.
Yeah, it's just going to look empty and the atmosphere is going to be terrible. 90,000 for the big games, you will 100% sell it out for like Liverpool and Arsenal and City and that.
What, 130?
I think first few years you'd sell out every game.
I think you could
with the new stadium.
You could actually fill it out pretty much every game, and then certainly for the bigger games, 100%. In terms of what I would take from Old Trafford, I think things like the Munich tunnel, for example, you could like more or less take that and put that in there. And I know it's only a small part, but the Munich Memorial, the Munich clock, the statues, obviously, take them with you. The Busby, all the statues. So. And maybe some of the the bricks with the names on outside, we've got people's names on again.
But that's still going to be on our campus, though, isn't it? Technically, that's still it's not on the stadium; it's on the floor.
No, sorry, But I'd take those anything that's sort of emotionally significant.
Would you relocate like the Trinity and Busby like in their orientation together?
I like that. Yeah, looking at each other almost.
Obviously, that's going to have to come at the end, probably.
Yeah, but I would do that.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Murphy statue, the Fergie statue.
Would you name the stands the same way?
Yeah, 100%. I would know.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
I imagine we're not going to call it the Bobby Charlton stand anymore. We're going to call it the McDonald's stand.
The Campbell Soup stand.
Yeah, okay.
Snapdragon end.
Yeah, let's just riot on the first day of this game, shall we?
Yeah. In terms
of stadium, sorry.
Visually, obviously now to me, there's a few things obviously that scream United, but I think the white sort of cantilever top on it, which I don't think technologically is necessary anymore, because that's sort of almost like peeling back the stadium so it don't collapse in on itself. Would you want it to look like that? Would you? What do you think? Those two questions.
That the roof of the North Stand is bigger than the pitch.
Really?
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know why I know something.
That's good. I like that one.
I guarantee you're right.
But that's why it needs them.
How do you want it to look? What about those?
I'll go back to if it's not 100,000,
okay,
I need a word.
Okay,
right now, because we are when everyone's attendance is like 5 figures.
Yeah, 45,000, 55,000.
Yeah, 60, 58,000. Oh, nice, well played.
Bad boy.
103,000. Like that. You know the fucking big dogs in this league. I should have fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
If it was 105,000 capacity, meaning that
I want to try and link that to another number though, like 101,999.
Yeah, nice.
It says 99.
Yeah. That'd be good. Also, as well, it'd be good to put us out of sight of like anyone with aspirations of having the biggest ground.
Every fucker, yeah.
So you
don't make it 80, don't make it 90. Yeah. Start at a fucking 100.
If the Scousers get a new stadium, going like, what's your stadium going to be? Well, it's not going to be the biggest. We can't build a stadium for 110,000. That's just not going to happen.
No.
Ours is just 85,000. If City get giddy again,
I'd like it to be.
Come on, then. You really want to build yourself a 110,000 seat stadium and see that like
I'll
a
take
quarter
that reunion
empty.
again.
1,000 for every charge.
Yeah, that's
115,000 seater.
It's got to be 100,000. It has to be.
I like that idea.
100,000, no matter what. And you link that back in, and you say to everyone, what we're going to do is because it's going to be 93,000, and we're going to think we're going to get this amount of ticket sales and this amount of match day revenue. Cool, knock yourself out. However, make it 10,000 more, 103,000, whatever you want to do, and fill it with bellends, just under 21s, getting off their fucking rocker, making the atmosphere mint, and do it under the guise of cheaper tickets for the local kids.
And you talk about this all the time, but in terms of the history of I mean, hooliganism is what some people will point to, but in terms of atmosphere and the building of atmosphere at football games, particularly post-Second World War, that was a massive part of it, wasn't it? Young kids.
Yeah.
It's not just like some idea you have. It's based on the past and what's made atmospheres good in the past.
It's teenagers. Also, can we have a sensible look at pyro? Why is it like it's literally, not only is it illegal to do while there's a game on, it is technically illegal to walk into a football stadium with any form of pyrotechnic, whether there's a game on or not. It's literally like, I can walk into your house, fine. I can walk into the chippy, fine. I walk into a football stadium, jail. Like, can we have a sensible look at it? Maybe we have to train up some people in the TRA as fire marshals. Maybe you have to provide sand. Let's get some fucking flares and smoke in there, because I see all of Eastern Europe in all sorts of different colours of the fucking rainbow every single weekend, right? I don't see tons of deaths and injuries every single fucking weekend from this shit. So it's clearly safer than people are acting like it is. Let's get some fucking pyro in there. Pyro, bellends, under 21 cheap tickets.
Coach who was well trained that lad who stuck one up his ass when England were playing. He could be like the chief pyro officer. Do you know what I mean? He knows. Look, he stuck it up his ass and he's fast to hurt himself.
Because like, people talk about a good atmosphere.
2 years. It literally sealed the opening off with the heat. But other than that,
people talk about there's a good atmosphere. It ain't that good. Like when you go to some other places, it ain't that fucking good. And you know, it could be a hell of a lot better. So let's make it fucking better. Big fucking tifos, loads of pyro.
I almost feel like with those things you've mentioned, cheap tickets, getting loaded the youngsters in, you make yourself almost unstoppable. That is a juggernaut that builds and builds and builds. It does, because you've got thousands of fans just going to the game.
This, right? So, like,
the atmosphere's ridiculous. You're winning more matches.
James is a perfect example. Make it 15 quid, unallocated seating for under 21s or students or whatever, and just watch how many go. And watch what their men's are like. And if you want your season ticket and you want to sit down, all right, cool. Cater for them all.
Got 70,000 season tickets.
Cater for them all. But make it 100,000, and then build a community around it. City at the moment, I was sort of joking a while ago that I see so many free tickets for City that I was going to do it one weekend, but I could guarantee I know what the fallout would be. Would people be like, oh, you're taking tickets off kids or some shit like that, because that's the way people paint this stuff. I was going to see if I could get 100 tickets for a City game, because I think I could. Because I know of how many tickets they give away.
Of course you could. That's not even a task.
But like a lot of people watching it be like, no, trust me. Like every junior football team in fucking Manchester gets asked, do you want some fucking tickets for the game? And we talk about them having low attendance. They've propped it up probably with a sizable percentage is going to be kids there on a Freeman's, right? But I don't necessarily disagree with that, especially if you've got 100. If you're trying to pretend you're a big club with it, that's one thing. But like, the League Cup ain't going to be 100,000 people in there. Guess what? Timmy and the boys are all fucking coming down now. Every junior club, just integrate the community a little bit more. Manchester United, to me, feel ashamed of the Manchester part of that fucking name.
They do. You know what? It's right. Like my lad, he gets tickets for Salford City sometimes. In his class.
Stockport do a lot as well.
Yeah, and I took him and we went there, but we've seen it with all his mates. We're all stood together. He loved it. I mean, it wasn't like they were all messing about more than watching the game because it wasn't United. But it's a good idea, that, and I think United could do that, like you say. But everything you've said, Steve, I don't think that happens if you just revamping Old Trafford.
And I want that fucking tunnel making.
I don't think you are. I don't think revamping it gives you the scope to do the things you said. You're not going to get 100,000 in revamping Old Trafford. I
want the tunnel.
Crumble.
What tunnel?
So wherever the opposition team bus parks, I want to make them walk past every single one of our Champions League and Premier League wins with a big fucking LED of the captain lifting it, and then a fucking bulletproof glass fucking thingy with a replica of that trophy inside it, and make the fuckers walk past it every single fucking match day.
Like you wanted them to drive past us like
just realise
cartons of Ribena and toilet roll at them like the Scousers did.
Just make them park so far away that they have to walk down this tunnel, and with every step closer they realise, fuck me, this club's won some stuff. Put it all in there, the Milk Cup, the fucking Charity Shield, the lot, everything. When we won the pools, put it in. Throw it in there. Make them all walk past it. So, like, if you're a United player walking past it going, fucking right, look at us. And then opposition go, Jesus fucking, I remember, fucking hell, how many trophies are these? Our club's not even got a museum. Like, that's what you want. Have them beat them before they get in the fucking changing room.
And Jay said it before, what do you want in terms of stuff bringing either literally or sort of metaphorically from Old Trafford as is? What needs to come over?
A lot of it is new already. Really, you can't replicate the spirit of it. And this is my problem: is sometimes new buildings, they lose soul. I think objects and things, and wood and metal and that, it has energy in it, and I think it carries. I know that's the wooiest thing I've ever said in my life.
This is good. This,
but that's one of the reasons why I can't say let's leave the place.
Yeah,
wood, especially. This is definitely the hippiest shit that's ever come out of my mouth.
Clip this.
Wood, especially, I think absorbs energy, good and bad, and I think some of the fixtures and fittings, the changing room's new, so that's not going to have it. But like, that building has been the witness of so much greatness. There might be bits of that Matt Busby's pipe smoke is somewhere in there. Like, Fergie might have fucking thrown tea in some parts of this. Like, that is who we are. That is where all of our fucking joy came. Apart from, we've had Wembley's had some, Barcelona's had some, we've had some trips. But this is who we are. And that energy, like, how many times have you been to a new stadium? Wembley, when you first went, what's the word people say? Soulless. Yeah. Etihad, soulless. Emirates, soulless. And there's a reason for that. New buildings don't have a soul yet because they've not absorbed that energy. Like, good and bad. Like, I'm going to turn this into a real dark place for a second, but I went to Belsen, which is where the location of one of the concentration camps was during the Second World War in Germany. There is a fucking energy about that place. Now, that's obviously a completely different direction to the energy that's at Old Trafford. Places absorb energy.
Can I just say that as well? Manchester Platz. There's a feeling there. You go there, there's a feeling there. It's an eerie, sad feeling, obviously, but you can feel it. And we all said the same thing when we all went there. We were like, you can feel it. Yeah. It's something. There's something there.
Even 200 metres away is different.
I get what you mean with that.
Even if it's not an actual, particles, things actually absorb. Even if it's just the feeling that you get as a human being when you add up all the stories you've heard from your granddad and your dad, all the memories you've had yourself, and you put them into the place that you're in, that does conjure something. That does feel like something. You do.
Have you been at Cheatham's Library?
What, on Deansgate? Yeah.
That's got a vibe.
Yeah. Big old Gothic library for anyone who's not been.
You don't sat there with your black eye. You don't look like the sort of guy that would start talking about energy. But you're right.
Does that worry you? Because that would be
the least spiritual looking person.
And
ever.
Do you know what?
But he's pretty spot on.
It would come eventually because I think Wembley now is getting some of that. It is getting its own memories.
That's
and
a
things
good
like
point.
That.
You can almost not manufacture. That's the wrong word, but build it.
Yeah.
And also, you start sort of if this goes the way we want it to go, if we start seeing this academy team that's amazing starts blossoming, if we start winning things again, if we start getting the good times rolling, then that creates its own energy at this new stadium.
That's what they need to do.
Go on.
So we're moving the stadium. It's about 200 metres ish.
Yeah.
Basically, we've seen the plans, right?
Yeah.
We've all seen the plans where there's like a ghosted red version of Old Trafford off to one side. I would imagine that they build that behind a hoarding and everything stays the same. We just lose the car park and a ticket offices and a porter cabin somewhere, I imagine. Yeah. I imagine that's how it goes.
Ticket was moved to the other car park.
East Stand car park.
That makes sense.
Yeah, right. Everything else stays the same apart from if you was in that car park, unlucky, right? Because now there's no car park there because that's where they're building a stadium. Once new stadium's open, they're going to close off Old Trafford, right?
Yeah.
And probably demolish it.
Probably.
What if we didn't? What if we took it down, didn't touch the pitch, build a 10,000-seater academy stadium right where Old Trafford
To be fair to the boy,
pitches.
he's been saying this for about ever since I've met him. He's been saying something like that.
And now that, Old Trafford, New Trafford.
See, my question would be, why has no one else done that? It makes me think that might be easier said than done, that.
Of course it's going to be easier said than done. Because when you demolish something, you just go, bosh, fuck. Whereas to take it down and not ruin the pitch.
You could leave the south stand, because what's that, 10,000? 8,000? It's the smallest.
Maybe it's too big. Maybe the electrics, maybe the Wi-Fi, everything.
I like the idea of keeping the pitch. I know, like we go back to this thing, that pitch is not... It's not even fully grass anymore, let alone the same pitch they had in the
This is fucking
1950s.
Trigger's broom, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
but
It's like 15 handles and 5
this
heads.
is
So
the
it's
same,
the same broom.
I
But
like
it's not.
that'd be quite nice.
Yeah,
Build
that's a
new
good
thing
idea,
around
and
it.
also it's there. It's right nearby. It's got that history and everything, and
Keep
it's
the
like
south stand.
just a dead little one.
Build a little one round
a
the
real
rest.
little one.
little
Little
stadium.
15,000
Still got a
seat.
bridge
Kiddies.
over the canal. You've still got the access road.
And also
It's
as
right on
well, you could, I don't know, thinking about the capacity.
Rent it out to Paddock every other weekend.
You could have big attendances for academy games.
Fucking right.
If you were going like, look, it's £2 to get in.
And by the way, it's here.
Yeah, like you could easily get 20,000-30,000 bods going.
United kick off at 3 o'clock. Academy kicks off at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
People will be in there at 9 o'clock because they know only 10,000 are getting in there. Rocking the fucking place.
100%.
Who we playing? Don't care. Fucking give Wickham, fuck 'em.
That's good preparation for those academy youngsters as well.
Yeah, imagine that.
When they get-
You coming out there and it's just Balloon Central in there and then they're all over the road. Fucking come on. Jim, I'm available for hire and I'm not cheap.
That's true.
You buying it or what? You buying into it?
No.
Right.
I would rather fix Old Trafford up, but I think there are. The only thing it's still the Glazers. I know obviously this is
Do you know what though?
running.
I don't think it's going to be very long.
Maybe not.
I can smell the end coming.
But if we start cutting corners and like, we're not going to do this thing that Bayern Munich did because we think we're going to focus on tradition, and actually we sort of talk our way to actually we've just got a stadium that is exactly the same as the current Old Trafford, but it's a bit bigger. Instead of this like, oh my God, world leading this, incredible that, a venue, we go, well actually we don't want the NFL here because we want the sanctity of football to be paramount, and then actually you realise they're just fucking half-arsed and everything. That would make me sick if that happened.
I understand you. There is an element of we are sort of looking at the best options for the new stadium, and we are sort of buying into this idea that Sir Jimmy's going to do the things he's kind of promising to do.
Yeah, let's hope that he's not going to toss it off completely.
Yeah.
But I do feel there's an element, and we've been saying this.
Surely he wouldn't do it if we weren't going to do it.
Exactly. Like
just leave it as it is.
From 3 years ago, when we first said this, when Kieran Maguire came on his channel and said, look, you got to look at Sir Jim Ratcliffe and you got to look at the reasons why he might end up buying United because of this legacy, because that's how he'll be remembered. And he's not going to do it. Can't see him doing it half-hearted.
Joe, if he comes in, right, let me go on. This is where the commenters are going to go, you lot are paid by Jim Ratcliffe, fucking clearly.
Tell us something we don't know.
I'm closing my eyes to
and
this.
please, let me know where them checks are because I need them.
Yeah, I need to get off smart price beans.
What if Sir Jim came in, right, and this is his legacy? He fucks the Glazers off.
Yeah.
He fucks City off.
Yeah.
Scousers have fucked Klopp off.
Yeah.
We start winning again. Remember that? Remember we used to be good?
Vaguely. I've read about it.
Yeah. We get a new ground.
Yeah.
They build an academy stadium on the place where Old Trafford is. Call it Duncan Edwards Arena.
Oh my
Right.
God. I can't cope with this. Go on.
He funds the new stadium by selling half of the club back to the fans in a 50+1 scheme.
Oh my God.
I'm never going to wear pants again, Jay.
No.
I'll build a statue out of fucking Red Bull for him.
Imagine it got to the point where we felt like you're just really proud of every part of Man United. That would be fucking unreal, wouldn't it?
18 fucking years of not liking the club I love.
Yeah, no. Imagine that.
It's mad,
I love it.
When
but
you
I
say
hate
it like that, it's true. It's like, you know.
Imagine not
back
hating
the
the
team,
owners.
back
The
the manager,
first
support the
stereo
team.
I bought was a sharp one because of Manchester United.
That TV is a sharp one because of Manchester United.
Yeah, right. Facts.
Yeah.
I had options. I bought that one.
Yeah.
Top red, you. Pair of top reds.
Only from the 90s though.
Fair
Yeah,
enough,
not that.
And all of Nike, Ladbrokes, a lot of you.
Right, you always a little bit of that, aren't you?
Hey,
Like,
But like that's all AIG. All of that, like, I can't wait to enjoy Manchester United wholly again and not have to
Caveat everything.
Yeah.
you know what it is as well?
Begrudgingly,
you don't even like. It'd be nice to not think about the ownership.
Yeah.
To not, you know what I mean? I don't have to. You know, when we used to go in the nights, I wasn't going in the ground going, I love Martin Edwards, mate. He's so great. I didn't really think about him. I was enjoying the football. I was enjoying
the funny thing
manager.
was, it was probably the opposite. Everyone thought it was a fucking
Well, actually,
knob.
yeah, I remember. I'm telling lies because I remember on the 99 parade going, "What the fuck's he doing on that bus?" But it wasn't an overriding thought about.
Do you know the
ownership.
hindsight of how good he was?
I know. I should have, spoiled. But just to go to the game and, like you say, enjoy the fact you're a United fan again, and not have to think we got to a protest beforehand. Well, we can't buy that because it's tied to Manchester
Jim,
United.
come and do the brew with us, and let me ask you that question: are you planning on doing this, and this? Because if the answers to them are yes,
Yeah.
I'm in. I've never been more in on anything in my fucking life than that. If his, like, because he's an elderly man, I think it's fair to say. If he goes, look, I reckon I've got 25 years to push, and over the next 25 years, I'm going to fucking introduce fan ownership to Manchester United. I'm going to fuck the Glazers off. I'm going to build a new Old Trafford. I'm going to get them back to winning fucking Champions Leagues. Oh my God.
I agree with all that. I think he can do it within 25 months. What?
And if he don't,
fuck him off. Yeah. Hashtag Ratcliffe out.
Yeah, new protest. Why have you been Googling that a lot for the last few years? Right, that's all from us. Thank you again to Greene King Sport for sponsoring the show. Make sure you check them out. The link is in the description. This has been Off the Bar. We'll see you in a bit.